What are some great natural supplements you can take at the onset of flu-like symptoms to help you get over it quicker and boost your immunity? Well, in general, we know the core supplements, as we've talked about here in the previous days, are vitamin C at 500 milligrams, vitamin D at 50 micrograms, and aged garlic extract at 400 milligrams. Now, aside from that, zinc is also great, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But when you talk about something once you've already gotten sick, well, we can go for Pelargonium pseudoides first off. Pelargonium pseudoides, you could take 750 milligrams of the powder, or you could take EPS 7630, it's a patented form of it, at a quarter teaspoon, or EPS 7630 hydroalcoholic extract at 1 teaspoon. Whether it's any of these three aforementioned options for Pelargonium pseudoides, they're all to be taken 3 times per day and preferably before you eat. Number 2, elderberry. Elderberry extract you could take, if it's the powder, 700 to 900 milligrams per day, splitting that over to about 3 separate doses. Now, if you want to take the elderberry syrup, you can take 1 teaspoon of that 4 times per day. And last but definitely not least, you're looking at zinc acetate is what you're going to go for. Zinc acetate, you're going to suck on the lozenges. So it's important to suck on them, and slowly absorb the zinc and really coat the throat here. And 75 to 95 milligrams throughout the day should suffice to give you plenty of zinc to help you fight the sickness. All right, so you're going to take these all, the zinc you'll take either for a week or until the symptoms disappear. As far as the elderberry and Pelargonium pseudoides go, you can take them until the symptoms disappear. So that's what we got for you guys. Hope you had a great day. I hope you're not sick, but if you are, this could help to reduce the symptoms and get you over it a little bit quicker, my fine feathered friend. Happy birthday, happy birthday, Mariano Munoz Soto. Happy birthday, brother. I love you, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And, I want you to know that this is forever your day in the book of When Wellness. And I'll talk to you here in a minute. I've been working all day, having a chance to reach out to you. We actually saw a record amount of patients today in the practice, so that was pretty cool, 120 people for chiropractic. But I hope you had a great day that wasn't nearly as busy as my day, even though I was doing what I love. And I hope you were doing something you love with the people you love. You have a beautiful family, you have a beautiful heart, beautiful mind, a beautiful soul, and I love you, brother. This one's absolutely for you. So happy birthday. I'll talk to you here in a little bit, and I gotta see you soon, and we can celebrate, whatever it is, whether it's a little cigar or, I'll even drink a beer, I don't like to really drink, but for your birthday, I won't deny you that. But happy birthday. Yeah, love you. Who do we got out here? Let's say hi to the people. And we're going to go make some healthy and delicious food. They hate Shawnee. What's going on? Sammy, what's up, man? He can marry me. What's up? He was a tour. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. You guys are so much fun. Victor Zor, what's happening? He's already married to the king. They hate Shawnee. You're funny, man. Correa, what's up? How you doing? Judith, what's up? Rhonda, nice to see you on here. Meg, what's going on? Nice to see you for the second time today. Hope you're having a great night. Sydney Ray, Jen Shea Chef, Brandon Malone, what's up, my brother? How's it hanging? Since 89, that's my man Malcolm. How you doing? Can't shake the feeling. I love it. What's up? Thanks for hopping on again. Edward Tobolski. Hello, my friend. Who's doing something good tonight? You're all probably just getting sleep so that you can work tomorrow, right? Drew T. Moore, but hopefully getting a good workout and eating a bunch of good food somewhere along the way would be good. Stormy D, what's up? IG Marcellus. BC. Hey. Oh, man. Tell us how to lose weight. tell us how to lose weight. Can I tell you something? I'm going to put this in the thing for this because I don't want to hold it anymore. I'm about to do a shoulder workout. Here's the thing about losing weight. The weight doesn't matter at all. What you look like, what you feel like, that matters. I have no idea how much I weigh. But I know what I look like, I know what I can do, and I know how I feel, right? And that's what's important. When you're trying to gauge weight loss, you know, I look at, everybody doesn't want to lose weight, everybody wants to lose fat. You want to lose fat. You want to build muscle. You want to think well. You want to perform well. You want to feel well. So filling your diet with a vast array of micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals from whole foods that we find in nature is essential for really all that. But if you want to really pick at and hone in on losing fat and improving body composition, then you're going to be more interested in having high amounts of protein, right? For those who want to burn, that's a number one fat-burning supplement. It takes more energy to digest protein than it does fats or carbs. Right? It leaves you feeling fuller, right? When you eat protein, so you're less likely to overeat. And it's an inefficient process for the body to convert excess protein into fat. Right? It would actually use the amino acids to form more glucose, if anything, likely in the liver. And so, you know, really, you can have a lot of protein, and it's good for you, right? It's also essential for bone health, your ligaments, right? Your tendons, things like that we forget about. You know, bones are majorly comprised of protein and things like phosphorus and magnesium and vitamin D, calcium, of course. But, you know, protein, a lot of protein is great for you. There's no correlation with, you know, what's up, brother? Master Gromfenzo, how you doing? Good to see you on here. Eli, what's going on? You know, there's no correlation with this high protein intake and kidney disease, really, right? You know, you'd have to be having copious amounts. They even recommend somebody who's trying to put on a lot of muscle to become a bodybuilder have 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight per day, right? So you can really, so if you're looking for weight loss, you're looking to improve body composition. You know, let's start there in terms of diet. You know, before we even talk about exercise. You know, aside from that, caffeine. You know, yohimbine, EGCG, right? 5-HTP. These are all things that promote fat burning as well. What's EGCG? Epigallocatechin gallate. It's something you find in green tea. It inhibits an enzyme, catecholomethyltransferase. Maintains higher levels of the catecholamines, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, adrenaline, right? A lot of the story with yohimbine, higher adrenaline with caffeine, you know, binding adenosine receptors, keeping you awake, maintaining elevated levels of cyclic AMP, and you know, also increasing adrenaline, right, for a sustained period of time, and so you're burning more fat. The interesting thing about 5-HTP is it just reduces the craving for carbs. So that's really the big thing. So if you're going to take that in this whole mix of trying to burn fat, then you know, maybe stop taking it after a couple weeks and see if you still have those cravings, and if you don't, it's probably unnecessary. Right? So, but the other ones should still be helpful, right? Now, on top of the protein and those, you know, the most important thing, we'll say this before we move on, healthy fats are going to be your major energy source, you know, not carbs. And it's not that carbs are the devil, right? And if you're going to have carbs, especially simple carbs, in particular, you want to have them right after the workout when you can replenish the glycogen stores. You can put them towards stored energy for future workouts, right? In the form of stored glucose as, again, glycogen in your muscles, right? So, you know, if you're looking to burn fat, you're going to want to eat a lot of healthy fats. You're going to want to eat a lot of healthy fats. That'll stimulate production of glucose in the liver, whereas, you know, if you eat, whatever you eat, the liver will produce the opposite with fat and carbs. Picture it that way. So if you eat a lot of carbs, it'll produce a lot of fat, right? And that's why, you know, people that eat a lot of pasta and candies and cookies and cakes, and aside from the lack of vitamins and all the shit in them, right, while the pure carbohydrates, especially simple carbs, are stimulating your liver to produce more fat, right? So it doesn't need to make more of what you're taking in all the time, which is already sugar, right? So if you're eating a lot of fat, conversely, like a bodybuilder might do, and someone looking to burn a lot of fat and get in good shape, someone on a keto diet, for example, well, then, you know, your liver is going to produce the opposite. You'll burn through fat, right? So that's what you're going for. Now, aside from diet, what's the most important thing really when it comes to building muscle, burning fat, improving your body composition? Well, you got to exercise a lot. I mean, there's no freaking secret. You got to work out hard. You can be skinny, you can be just thin, you can intermittent fast, and sure, I mean, you'll get through fat, follow the diet guidelines we just said, and you'll get through. Now, I also want to mention, if your goal is pure weight loss, which I'm, again, not a huge advocate of, I think it's more of a wanting to improve body composition is what we're really looking for when a lot of us say we're looking to just lose weight, but some people might really just want to lose weight. There's really not much of a difference between calorie restriction and fasting. Alternate day fasting may be slightly superior in a couple studies, but, they're really similar in terms of just dropping weight, right? So, that doesn't take into account, though, body composition. Like, that doesn't take into account how much lean muscle you want to have, right? So then fasting would be beneficial because that would support the endocrinology behind building some more muscle as well, maintaining muscle mass, you have more growth hormone, more testosterone, etc. And so, that's preferable if you're looking to have lean mass as well, is fasting to something like pure calorie restriction. So you got to work out a lot. And I think, if someone you want better abs and, whatever, do abs with weight, you can't forget that you have to challenge your body for it to respond and to grow and to, also to grow to a point where it's going to need to maintain a higher resting metabolic rate to burn through calories all day and fat and, have a high metabolic demand. It requires some strength training of some sort, right? It's not just about going for runs. And again, you could just lose weight, but if you want to look good too, you gotta test yourself, at the end of the day. That's what you gotta do. So you look at things like weighted V-ups and weighted planks and weighted suitcase crunches and all sorts of stuff like that. You can do drop sets and with a medicine ball, suitcase crunch, take it off, go, put it back on, go, have a weight between your feet too, drop set, drop the weight, lighter medicine ball, keep going. You go to the ab bench. This stuff's at the end with the medicine ball because it's really light. You go at the end and you come up to the middle, up to the side, and overhead, and you can do all that kind of stuff, right? But even on core day, the reason I'm saying this, not just because there's no such thing as fat spotting, right? It's not you work that muscle out, you just burn fat there. That's a myth, right? We debunked that here at Win Wellness, as many others have, But you want that higher resting metabolic rate, Brandon Malone, I appreciate that, But that's not what this video is about, so I don't want to just keep doing that. But I am my product, and the proof is in the pudding, and what I do works. It works for me. And if you want to, progress along those lines, not to look like me, but to look better than me, or like that, then do a lot of the things I'm saying. But you know what? If you don't, then do whatever you want. I mean, there's tons of ways to be healthy. You could eat super frequently throughout the day. That's just fine. A lot of people do tons of reps and look good and, whatever, perform well, do just hit training and shit, and that's fine. But, I'm looking for kind of that happy medium. This is more appealing to like the 20, it's really not an age range, but any young male to middle-aged male, really any male that's probably young to middle-aged because it's a little aggressive for some elderly, the geriatric population, the way that we recommend working out. But to be in shape, to be fit and to be strong and to look and to feel good, right? So, that's what we got for you guys. So don't forget to challenge yourself, test yourself in the gym. Eat a lot of healthy fats, eat high amounts of protein, right? Preferably about 100 to 120% of your body weight in grams, right? Is what you're looking for per day. And, all those supplements we mentioned might also be a help. But the exercise, first and foremost, with the diet, healthy fats, major energy source with all that protein, it's going to go a long way. But don't forget your carbs as well. And when you have them, make sure, even though you're going to have a smaller percentage of your daily caloric intake as carbs, it could be 10%, 15%. You look at things like the ketogenic diet. This is pretty much a modified keto diet, so that it's also got high protein. Whereas, typically the keto diet will have 70% fat and 20% protein and 10% carbs or something along those lines. There's a bunch of different variations. But we like to have the high protein as well. So, that's what you want to do if you're trying to improve body composition, if you're trying to burn fat, which a lot of people mean when they say they want to lose weight. So that was really some question to answer. I know this was an extensive response, but I think it was necessary. And, you know, again, if you were looking at those supplements for burning fat, if you weren't with us before, 5-HTP reduces your cravings for carbs. Protein's the number one. Remember, 100 to 120% of your body weight in grams of protein, or 0.68 to 1.23 grams per pound of body weight is another recommendation. Either one should suffice to meet the goal. And, you know, aside from protein, you have the 5-HTP, like we said, reduce craving for carbs. You got EGCG, maintain higher levels of the catecholamines like adrenaline, you know, and all that good stuff. The yohimbine, the caffeine, right? So what's the next question? Thank you. I appreciate that. What do you eat in one day? Great question. So let's talk about what I'll eat today. I didn't eat yet today. I'm about to eat, and then I'm going to go to the gym. So this is good to talk about, because, you know, why am I going to eat now instead of going to the gym and then eating after? Well, I'm gonna eat now because, one, I don't want to break down my muscles during the workout, right? And so I need some ample stores of amino acids to prevent that from happening, the building blocks of proteins to prevent that from happening, right? So that's one thing. You know, another one is I don't want to eat super close to bed. So I don't want to eat within that hour or those 2 hours before bed. So I prefer to eat a lot before I go. And no, I haven't eaten at all today. I fast every day. You know, I know I feel great, right? So, yeah, maybe you wouldn't know, but yeah, I feel good. You know, so I do the OMAD pretty much. But, you know, number one, I listen to my body. So I'll eat a lot before the gym. You know, I'll go and I'll have 2 packs of grass-fed beef, 2 pounds, right? So that's, you know, like 92 grams of protein. That's 184 grams right there. So if I'm eating my body weight to a little more, I'm like 225. I'm already very close. You know, I get another 40 grams or so, and I'm like right about there at 100%, and, you know, we're getting really close. So, you know, I like to do that. I like to have some good meat. Now, what kind of meat? I get the 100% grass-fed. You know, 94.6, you know, I think is what it is, or 93.7, whatever. But it's a strong ratio of lean. Now, saturated fat, albeit there's no correlation with saturated fat intake and heart disease, you know, if you could go for leaner meats, it would make sense, right? I mean, you might as well get a leaner meat, a better cut of meat. But it's not going to necessarily kill you if you have some fattier cuts. Just make sure you get a lot of protein with it. But the reason I say that is because it's like, whoa, wait, you said eating fat helps you to burn fat. And that's true. And so, you know, have the steak, like the well-marbled steak, that's fine. I eat them all the time, honestly. But if I'm looking for the benefit from the fat, I would probably more have things like nuts and seeds and avocados and extra virgin olive oil, you know, and fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, tuna, herring, you know, stuff that has the omega-3s in it, you know, stuff that higher levels of omega-3s, the EPA, the DHA, stuff that's great for my brain, that's great for my heart, you know, albeit this isn't bad for your heart. It doesn't really cause high cholesterol to have these meats like that. You know, the real devil's sugar, right? When we talk about that, raising cholesterol. I mean, what did we say before? Whatever you eat out of sugar and fat, your liver's going to produce the opposite, right? So, you know, that makes sense. It's an endogenous production issue, meaning within the body, production. But, you know, I'll eat that. So probably 2 packs of beef. I'll take a pack or 2 of the, I'll probably take 1 pack of the 7 grains. You know, you can find it at Aldi. It's pre-packed, but look at the ingredients. You know, that one has just extra virgin olive oil and sea salt as the other ingredients aside from the grains. So like, you know, the lentils and whatever, and the wild brown rice and, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, I'm gonna have that. It goes in the microwave for 90 seconds. It's absolutely fantastic. You know, and you know, I'll mix that with the meat. You know, I'll probably eat that before the gym. And then when I come back, you know, right after, I'll make a nice smoothie with frozen blueberries. I was going to talk about this smoothie tomorrow, but I mean, I'll talk about it now, I guess, too. But, you know, yeah, you got it. I mean, this is, you know, yeah, this is a long video, but hey, I'm happy to talk about this. I love talking about this stuff. So yeah, I'll go for, you know, probably some frozen blueberries, you know, half a bag of frozen spinach, a lot. Appreciate that, Brent. I'm honored. You know, bag of frozen spinach, at least, you know, like a half. It's really condensed with the frozen spinach. You get a lot. It's a lot more than a cup of dried spinach. But I'll put that in the blender. I'll put some chia seeds, some flax seeds, some sunflower seeds, some pumpkin seeds, right? Remember, your seeds and your nuts are huge for getting a lot of those B vitamins, a lot of other vitamins. It's something that grows into something else. No secret, it'd be full of vitamins and healthy fats as well, and protein, right? So, I'll put those in there. Some Greek yogurt. I'll put some plain Greek yogurt. If they have the vanilla, like Too Good one, the 2G, whatever, something like that. I just try to make sure that none of it's sweetened with sucralose or any bullshit, that it has stevia or monk fruit is what it's sweetened with. Put that in the blender, and I'll slice up some fresh ginger. I'll put that in there. Anti-inflammatory, invigorating, just antioxidants, just fantastic for you. Ginger, pretty much good for your whole body. And then let's see, what else do I put in there? Some chopped up frozen avocado I throw in there. Almond milk is going in there. I think that's about it. Pretty good smoothie, full of nutrition, just full of nutrition. So, that'll give me a lot of my micronutrients. Because again, like I was saying, I just had this beef, and it's full of vitamins, but you're limited. I'm not getting a lot of the vitamins that you'd find in plant-based foods, right? So that's important to also get your leafy greens. I'm not getting any fiber either, right? So I'm getting a ton of fiber now in this shake, not to mention a little more protein. I'll meet the daily mark, and you could throw a little bit of natural whey protein in there. Make sure it's as pure as possible. Something like Iso Pure Natural type stuff is good, but that's what. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, James. Yeah. So that's the type of thing I'll eat today. Yeah. And I've had about, a gallon to 2 gallons of water throughout the day. Gino, what's up, man? Who's a tour? Thanks, Ma. That's a great smoothie. You got to try it. It's delicious too. How many times you eat in one day? Well, that totally depends. So I'll eat before the gym. I'll have that shake after, right? Now, if I'm still hungry, no, I'll have something else. But what am I going to have? I'm going to have something that's, relatively light, but packs a real punch in terms of nutrition, vitamins, minerals, and protein. And what's the perfect thing like that for that later nighttime snack? Be eggs, some pasture-raised eggs. If I was real hungry, I'd throw 8 eggs in a pan as well. And, now I'm getting up towards that 1 to 1.5 times, at least 120% of my body weight in grams of protein. It's really for burning fat. It's really for building muscle. It's really for thinking well. It's really for feeling great, and you can take magnesium on top of it. But look, I had my chia seeds. I'll have some Brazil nuts. I might even be able to throw in there. Yeah. Well, you're eating dinner. Yeah, my leafy greens, right? These things are so I don't need to take a vitamin B complex, right? I'm getting tons of B vitamins from all this stuff. It's like, unless I had nervous system issue, radiating symptoms, something like that, some numbness, burning, tingling, coming down the arm, neuropathy, that'd be worth it to take something. Yeah, I eat everything. Yeah, eggs are great. Yeah, I love eggs too. They are like the best bang for your buck in terms of a food, aren't they? I mean, they really are. And if you want pasture raised eggs, well, first, if you're like, why would I want pasture raised eggs? Like, Shane, what the hell is the difference? There's actually a large disparity in the nutritional content. Pasture raised eggs versus regular eggs. So with pasture raised eggs, they have 3 times the amount of vitamin D, 2 times the amount of omega-3s, 4 times the amount of vitamin E, 7 times the amount of beta carotene, and they are just chock full of nutrition if you are going to eat them. Also, probably, definitely go for the yolk as well, right? That cholesterol is a precursor to hormones, not only like estrogen, but also testosterone, guys and girls, important for you as well. It has in the yolk vitamin D, which is one of the rare food sources of vitamin D. Typically something that have to be grown in the sun to have vitamin D. We are fortified with vitamin D. You find it in dairy too, right? But not that many foods that have high amounts of vitamin D. I believe salmon is some too, right? But that probably plays a large role. Does the light hitting the water too as well? But I don't know, whatever. But you don't want to get off topic here, But it's got that, right? So it has choline in it. Right? Acetylcholine, the learning neurotransmitter, also involved in muscle contraction. A whole bunch of good stuff. Focus, memory, attention. This is all in egg yolk. It has vitamins A, D, E, and K, all the fat soluble, like all the B vitamins. It's just chock full of something. And then what do we say here at When Wellness all the time? We say, the more you know about nutrition, the less you need to know about nutrition. And what the hell does that mean? Well, it means like you can study the hell out of this stuff, but what you're going to find out is if it's from nature it's probably good. And in some way it's good. It's got something good. As long as it's not poisonous, but you can't buy poisonous mushrooms in the grocery store, right? So if it's something you wouldn't see in the form found in nature, it's probably not good, and it's all processed and it's lost a lot of its nutritional value. But when you look at something like an egg or a seed, right, they grow into animals and plants respectively, right? So you would think they have to be loaded with nutrition, just using common sense. And an animal that's eating these healthy plants all the time, these vegetables, these fruits, whatever, and you look at something like, beef and chicken and lean turkey, and fish, I mean, no surprise they're all great for you and full of vitamins. So that's what we got for you guys. I think that's a lot. That's a shit ton of stuff we've been talking about tonight. This is long. How old are you? No, I don't eat 3 times a day. No, I was just saying how Yeah, that's right, James. That's absolutely right. Brandon, that's your head out of the gutter. You're funny, man. Let me. No, I don't eat 3 times a day. I probably end up eating for a couple hours. I eat and then I go to the gym. Probably ends up being like a 4-hour period. I don't know. 3 hours of eating, I guess. 20 to 21 hours fasting every day. Yeah. Guys, thanks so much. We got to go. We got a lot to do. They are. And we will definitely see you tomorrow, guys. Enjoy your night. Thanks so much. Any more questions, you feel free to reach out. We love talking about this stuff. We love hanging out with you guys. So by we, I mean me. I'll see you later. Happy wellness. Enjoy yourselves. Go do something great for yourself. What do you say? 31. Thanks.